Hello, everybody. It is Charles Vest again, and I am live again. Happy Saturday to everybody. I hope that you guys hear me well. If you hear me and see me and you're here, go ahead and place a comment so I know that you guys are here live. I also know that a lot of you are watching this later. You're watching the replay, which is fine. I mean, it's Saturday. You got things to do. Instead of watching this crazy guy talk about ninja sales secrets when you can get it later. So I get that. But today, if you are here, we get to interact. Those of you who are watching the recording won't hear this part that I just went through because I edited it out. All right. We are at 9 o'clock. Good morning, everybody. Charles Vest here. I am your Ninja Sales Secret coach, and today we are going to talk about Ninja Secret number 7. And that's 7 out of 20, by the way. If you have no idea what I'm talking about, then you might want to go to ninjasalessecrets.com and take a look at the book that I have available. It's only $9.95. You can also go to buycharlesbook.com and find it there. I know, I keep it really simple. A lot of you are on my text service, which is just texting Ninja to 474747, and you get alerted about all of these trainings, which happens every Saturday at 9 o'clock Pacific time. Okay, enough of that. Oh, hello, Stacy. How are you? Enough of all of that. Let's get started. Ninja Sales Secret number 7. This one is, well, they're all great. I really think they are, or else they wouldn't have been put in the book. This one is a little bit interesting because a lot of people don't think about this particular topic. Most people think about the ideal client. A lot of times you're going to go to a coach, a sales coach, and they're going to say, "Well, let's create your ideal client," or "Can you explain what your ideal client is?" And you go through this whole exercise of identifying, your products and services and identifying the right client. Okay, that's great. But a lot of us don't know how to become an ideal representative. So, as an ideal representative or an ideal partner or an ideal coach or an ideal salesperson, you go ahead and input ideal husband, ideal girlfriend, put whatever you want in there. There's a couple ninja secrets that I'm going to share with you over the next 15 minutes, and let's hope that it helps you out to become different and better than the rest. So, this topic, becoming the ideal representative, number 7. We need to refer a lot to Ninja Secret number 5, which is what color is your customer? In other words, what personality trait is your customer? And if you are able to identify them quickly, which is part of the exercise, then you'll learn a little bit about this secret of becoming the ideal rep, because your customer is looking for a certain type of rep. Now, the way that I'm going to put it here is just like in Ninja Sales Secret number 5, you want to not necessarily know exactly what to do. Hey, Dwayne, what's up, buddy? What to do and what to say, but you also, more importantly, in a lot of cases, and Dwayne's an excellent example. I've learned a lot from Dwayne as a salesperson for IT and major companies that sell millions of dollars worth of stuff. This is where I learned it. The premise is to not necessarily learn what to say, but know what not to say. It's way more important than what to say, because if you say something and it's great, all right, a lot of people say great things, but if you say something that totally goes against the grain, totally turns off your customer, you're toast. And there's no chance for you to make up with something great later on down the road. You can say something great and then say something even better down the road. But if you say something wrong to the wrong person, you're done. They're not going to listen to you ever again. And so just like with understanding personality traits, a lot of times you want to learn what not to say, what not to do. And how do you do that? So we're going to talk about that. And just remember, you have to understand the personality traits in order to know what these customers are looking for. And I'm going to use an example that when you implement this strategy, it can be utilized immediately. It can be utilized today. And that's the thing about the ninja sales secrets. You want to be able to apply these right away. Work on your wife, work on your kids, whatever, right? I know that Donna and Jeff learned a couple of the ninja sales secrets from last week, and they started implementing them right away, and they learned that, wow, this actually works. So I actually won a large contract just this week by applying this exact secret, utilizing the colors and this secret. And here's how it worked out. First of all, what you need to understand is, okay, what does your customer, like for instance, I'm sorry, what makes a bad rep? Like in the book, what are some of the characteristics of a bad salesperson? Because you got to know what those are so that you can make sure you don't implement any of those strategies. And so in the book, I have 4 of them, and I'm going to read them right now. They're really fast. One trait of a bad rep, or 4 traits of a bad rep. A bad rep does not respond in a timely manner. A bad rep does not do what they promise. Neither does a bad friend or a bad boss or a bad coach. You get it? A bad rep never tells the truth or is always deceptive, half-truths. And then the last thing is a bad rep doesn't have, and it's really a 2-parter, but I have it as one thing. A bad rep isn't knowledgeable about their products and services, and they don't understand the circumstances surrounding your customers' orders. That's really another, it should be number 5. I did that as 4. But not only is a bad rep not knowledgeable, but when the customer says, hey, where's my order? They have no idea. And all those toast. So how do you implement what a good rep is? First, to identify what a bad rep is. And then I'm going to now explain the situation of how I won this contract. And you'll be able to see how this all goes together. So I had an opportunity to talk to the president, the highest decision maker of a company. And you always want to get there. If you can get to the president, if you can get to the owner, even though they're not possibly the decision maker, they still are the highest reference point. And that's a more advanced training. Some of you understand what I'm talking about. If you can say, well, I just talked to the president and they suggested I talk to you, Mr. Decision Maker, that has a lot more power than I just talked to the gatekeeper, and the gatekeeper just suggested I talk to you. That has no power at all. Like, you're toast. All right. So anyway, back to the lesson. I had a chance to talk to the president, the owner of a company, and she was and is a red personality. Red personality means that they are driven. They don't want a lot of details. They just want you to tell them what the deal is, short and sweet, get in and out and move on, because they don't have time for all the details. And so I talked to the owner, and she said, yeah, sounds great. Go talk to my purchaser. Okay? So the owner was red. I identified that. The purchaser was and is green. So you can't talk to the purchaser the same way you talk to the owner, or else you're, what's the word? Yeah, toast. So when I talked to the purchaser, I realized that the purchaser wanted, and I'm just kind of looking at my notes here, the purchaser wanted everything detailed. The owner couldn't care less about detail. Sounds great, love it, boom. So you can't go to the purchaser. I could not go to the purchaser and say, yeah, so the owner says they want it, so here's the price. No, don't make that mistake. Each person is a different personality. Each person needs to be treated correctly. And so I talked to the purchaser, and the purchaser, asked me a couple questions, of which I implemented these. Oh, there was a little glitch in my thing. I implemented these different personality traits. Okay, so let's talk about not personality traits. I implemented these different rep traits. So here's how you go against the grain on what is a bad rep. So for the purchaser, number 1, right? Remember, does not respond in a timely manner. What I did was I told the purchaser that I would get back to her with a response before 3 o'clock. I implemented all of the 4 traits at one time. I told her I would get back to her with the response before 3 o'clock. In other words, I'm going to respond ahead of time, because I got back to her at like 12. I under promise and over deliver. You know, they always say they're going to do something and they don't do it. Okay, so I did that. I got back at 12. See the deal? I was honest. I said I would get back before 3. I didn't put myself in a situation where I couldn't fulfill that. I was honest. I got back at 12. See, all 3 of the deals. And then the knowledgeable about the products. Here's how that one came into play. We were actually talking about hand sanitizer. We ended up doing a big contract with a lot of different services, but it started with hand sanitizer. And what I did was I had a conversation with the owner, and I told the owner that, you know, and especially in a recovery center, which is where I was, I told the owner, I said, you know, the last thing you want is for somebody, that's the secret number 6, okay, rustling the bushes. But I know I'm going all over the place. Sorry about that. You got to start putting these together. I said the last thing you want is for one of your folks, you know, one of your clients to actually drink your hand sanitizer, because you may or may not know this. It has 80% alcohol. It is 80% alcohol, which means it's 160 proof. And the owner said, "Oh my goodness, heck no. We got to change that right away. Does yours have any alcohol?" I said, "Mine is alcohol free. That's why I'm here. That is exactly why I'm here." Ninja secret number 2, by the way. I said, "No, that's exactly why I'm here." And the owner says, "Great, terrific. Talk to my purchaser. Let her know that I want to get your products. And thank you very much." So I went to the purchaser and I said, you know, owner asked us to get together. I would like to send you documentation on my hand sanitizer so that you can have all the information you need. And if you have any questions, feel free to ask me. She didn't have any questions, but what did she really want, folks? She was agreeing. What did she really want? Documentation. She's not afraid of documentation. So we went through this whole process. I gave her all this documentation. I gave her more than she asked for. I gave it to her before I said I would give it to her. All those things are great. So I was an ideal rep for her. I was an ideal rep for the owner because I was short, to the point, move on. Now, what if I would have went to the owner and after she said, "Oh, that sounds great, go talk to the purchaser," I could have stuck around and go, "Well, before I talk to the purchaser, because she's going to want to know these things, let me tell you all about all these things about my product so that when the purchaser comes to you and asks you about all these things, you're going to know." The owner would have went, "Heck to the no, we're done." So I treated her the right way. She said, "Yeah, go talk to my purchaser. We're done. End of story. Move on to the next step." I talked to the purchaser. She wanted a lot of documentation. Are you catching what I'm talking about? Am I going too fast here? I hope not. So, yeah, I'm looking at your notes here. Thank you, Dwayne. Absolutely. All right. So here's what happened. Down the road in this process, 3 or 4 days later, we sold the first order, because they never order everything up front. They only try you out first to see how the processes are. Remember that. So the first order was a decent order and a lot of hand sanitizer and stuff. And depending on how that went, we were going to win the rest of the contract. So this is what happened. I got a call. I got that call. And the call was, "Charles, I didn't order this stuff." And I said, "Oh, I distinctly remember getting the approval for this particular item." And she said, no, I don't ever remember sending you a message to get the stuff. And so what did she do? She went through, while I was on the phone, she went through every word of every message, from text messaging to email messaging, as to the fact that I did not completely identify that there was an approval for it, and she did not give me one. Okay. 2 things happened there, and then we're almost done here. 2 things happened. Number 1, remember this, and I wrote this down because this is something that is a little more advanced, but just understand this. She went through every word of the document, but it was not to prove me wrong. It was simply to get to the truth. She just wanted to find the truth. She wasn't trying to prove me wrong. A lot of times when someone says, "Well, I need to check the documents, I need to check, I don't see it," you might take that personally. Do not. From agreeing, they just want the facts, and there's no hard feelings, just the facts. So here's how it turned out. She couldn't find where that was. But I remembered at the end of her search that it was actually, we were all three standing together in the owner's office when the owner said, Charles, this is so and so, and I want to order your hand sanitizer, and please get with her, and so we can place that order, get it all sent here by next week, and then we can start distributing it out. That was all verbal, wasn't written. And I reminded her of this verbal conversation, which she totally forgot until I reminded her. And she goes, oh, that's right. That did happen. Facts. Okay. So there's a lot of things that happened in that transaction, but I was honest. When she was going through the notes, I was like, I distinctly remember hearing an approval, but it wasn't a written approval. I see my thing is starting to glitch a little bit. I hope that it's not glitching for you. Let me just slow it down here, make sure that there's no glitches. Okay, it was a verbal approval. So I just simply made sure that I was the ideal rep for the purchaser. I looked at the things that she did not want. She did not want me to be late, for sure. She did not want me to promise something that I couldn't deliver. She did not want me to lie or be deceptive. And she did not want me to not be knowledgeable of the products. And then later on, we talked about the delivery of the product. So here's the bottom line. I wrote it as something that you can remember, like a rhyme. You don't have to do the best. Just be better than the rest. That sounds like a song, huh? Yeah. You don't have to be the best. You just need to be better than the rest. When you are going to be if you are, and I hope that you will become the ideal ideal representative and the ideal salesperson or the ideal father or the ideal friend, you don't have to be the best. You just need to be better than the rest. How are you better than the rest? Know what the others do wrong and just do better. I know. Simply put, that's all it takes to be the ideal rep for your customer. Hopefully you learned something with this. I can go deeper into it, but I think I've already made the point. Read the book, Ninja Sales Secrets. That's secret number 7. Next week, I said only 15 minutes, and it's been 15 minutes. Huh? Next week, we're going to talk about the psychology of making decisions. And that one, bring a pencil and paper, because I'm going to teach you how to know what part of the 3 parts of a decision-making process your customer or your kid or your husband or whatever is in. There's 3 parts. There's the heart, there's the head, and there's the gut. We're going to go through them, and I'm going to give you the secrets of how to identify what part your customer is in. That sounds fun, right? See you next week. Talk to you soon. Charles, NinjaSalesSecrets.com. Bye-bye.